The climate crisis continues to worsen. Southern Europe has been hit with a plague of wildfires, forcing over 200,000 people to be evacuated from regions in France and Spain. Such is the lethality of the blazes that Bordeaux, a metropolitan city populated by 1 million people, faces serious discussion of evacuation. This imagery is harrowing, profound in its horror, but this timeline has been known for some time. We are facing the consequences of a right-wing political trajectory controlling our environment. Scientifically, the events are self-explanatory. Energy production and consumption that burns fossil fuels release gases like carbon dioxide, which rise into the atmosphere and trap heat beneath it, the greenhouse effect. Subsequently, the temperature of the Earth rises, influencing the weather felt across the planet. Temperate nations, as found across Europe, see their temperatures rise, prolonging droughts, drying out flora, and increasing the chance and severity of a wildfire. This is an obvious chain of events that has been known for over a century, yet we continue to plunge further into the ecological abyss. Why? The answer requires us to turn to sociology, to the political domain. Reducing carbon emissions requires energy production to be altered, but regulating how we do this challenges corporations that own coal mines, oil fields, and gas pipelines, and sell their commodified fossil fuels across global markets. A rational decision, scientifically or ethically, conflicts with the economic interests of said corporations, who would lose power in a changing industry should the climate issue be properly addressed. Even this is silly. Green technology exists and produces billions for industry leaders right now. Investment taken from finite oil wells, for instance, and switched to infinite solar or water technology could revolutionize energy production across the globe. But this pathway requires a temporary suspension of market logics, and in the neoliberal late-stage capitalist mantra, anything that challenges immediate growth is dangerous. It suggests there may be more to life than charts and rankings, and threatens to challenge the socio-economic hierarchy they sit atop. Thus, the response of capitalists, as transmitted across their media, political outlets, and cultural tools, is one of denial and distraction. Billions are poured into denying scientific fact, to the point that it becomes official position of entire administrations. Right-wing cultural discourse, meanwhile, has converged around asinine discussions of nationalism and culture, each as facile and superficial as the other, because addressing the brutal reality of the burgeoning climate crisis prompts a diagnosis that lays bare the shameless abandon neoliberal capitalism applies to the planet. A person fixated on their fear of the other, be it racially, sexually, or any other difference they can perceive, has been entranced by an illusion. Their senses are numb to the burning danger of the reality around them for a false concoction, drilled into their mind by the vicious shouts of a rabid media. They adopt conservative fears and force them into public discourse, allowing right-wing figures to insist said discourse is critical and requires a solution that abates pressure on capital, or worse, opens new opportunities for it instead. Yet a lie cannot change reality. Media outlets that crow incessantly about climate denial find themselves reporting the morbid scenes of events they claimed hyperbole, and 1 million words of pseudoscience ring hollow when the flames are outside your door. Fighting the climate crisis is not only a scientific battle, but a political one. How devastating the next decades are depend on how effectively we have removed right-wing ideas from our social organisation.